Hello everybody, this is Drmcbrick, and this is the 2023 Modular Jazz Club. Wait a minute, it doesn't say jazz, it just says club. What the? Well, I'll tell you what the. Yeah, what I have done is I have improved this modular so that it is no longer just a club for jazz. It is actually a club. It's a venue that anyone can come to, whether you're a jazz musician, a string quartet, rock group, a magician, a comedian, whatever you want, you can come to this. And so in order to do that, in order to actually have a venue for my city, I had to make it into a club, a genuine club that you can have access without having to go through a bunch of different doors and without having to go up and down the stairs. So on the inside, I have changed a few key things that have made it into a real venue. So, oh, and I also got rid of the pizza shop. Let's take a look. Okay, I first want to say thank you to brickset.com. They are the gold standard in providing pictures and all kinds of information about every Lego brick set. So thank you. And I took some pictures of theirs to show you what I'm thinking about. First of all, it's a great model. Again, I'd like to say congratulations to the designers and to Lego for coming up with a great modular. But I did have a few issues with it, and so I'm going to change the narrative. Their narrative is a great narrative, and you'll see throughout the building manual that they talk about the characters and all that sort of thing. But what I'm going to say is that this is an old building that, well, two old buildings that were purchased by a concert promoter. And I used to actually be a concert promoter and used to produce concerts, and back in the old days. So I'm going to say that a concert promoter bought this and has made it into a concert venue. It's actually a club, not just a jazz club, but a club for all types of things going on. So with that, we don't need a few things, and we need to add a few things to it. So the outside will stay the same. I like the blue, the whole idea of jazz club and blues and all that kind of stuff. It all kinds of goes together. At first I thought it was a little odd, but when I looked at it, I really kind of like the way it goes together. I like that color of azure. And the yellow, I think, is fine. So, with my narrative being that a concert promoter purchased this property to make it a concert venue, the first thing we have to look at is the first floor. Now, I love the way that they've done the outside box office in the offset, but if you notice, there are a bunch of doors going on in here. Now, they did a good job with the club. The stage is great. You can change the curtains and take the stage lighting off and all that sort of thing, but it's connected to a pizza place. To me, makes no sense. Now, I know Lego loves pizza places, and I know they try to put pizza places in a lot of their models, not just modulars, but a lot of things. But, you know, to me, having a pizza place right next door with an open archway to a jazz club, you go to a jazz club, or you go to a jazz club to relax with a martini or wine or some sort of tapas meal or something like that. You don't go to hear the phone ring and somebody say, hey, oh yeah, you want 2 large pies? Yeah, with anchovies and pepperoni. Gotcha. Makes no sense. I'm getting rid of that. I will turn it into something different, and I will show you that in a few minutes. Now, let's go to the second floor. The second floor is great because it has a tailor shop, great for costumes, great for producing costumes for the performers for the club. The performers can be comedians, they can be jazz artists, they can be blues artists, they can be rock singers, they can, comedy shows, poetry readings, whatever. This is going to be a venue for everybody. The office up top for the manager, to me, again, makes no sense. It's a little noisy because you have that coming up. And of course you have the phonograph there. You wouldn't be playing that during a concert, obviously. It might just be for like an audition disc or something like that. But I'm going to make this into an observation room up here that overlooks the concert venue. So this is actually the top. We're going to take the office out, make that into something else, and I will show you that when we finish the model as well. Now let's go to the third floor. Now, the third floor is great. It has the green room, and this is where your artist would use their equipment, would sing, get their voice ready, would play their instruments, the band would jam together, all that sort of thing. That is great. But if you notice, there is a staircase. Because of the nature of this model and because it's a modular on a 32 by 32, it can only have one staircase. But this means that the artist actually has to walk down 2 flights of stairs, go outside, go around the building in front and move people out of the way at the box office getting their tickets to go to the show, and move them out of the way and go into the venue and set up on stage. Makes no sense whatsoever. I'm going to make it so it's all one venue and you can get to everything from inside the venue. So I'll show you how I will do that in a few minutes. So then I take a look at the back. The back of the building is actually set up very, very well. And what I'm going to do, I have a feeling that the designer who made this probably even thought about this, because everything seems to be lined up perfectly to be able to do this. You may already know what I'm going to do, and some of you may have already done it. But it's going to help the buildings, the 2 buildings, tie together. It's going to also help the buildings be self-contained, and it's going to be in a Lego style that is acceptable, and technique and stuff, and within the modular framework. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, I listened to a few videos or watched a few videos of the designer talking about how excited they are to see what other AFOLs do to this particular model and how they incorporate it into their city. My city, the narrative is that it's going to be a concert venue and it's going to be a club of all different sorts. Okay, so this is my version of the Jazz Club. I call it just the club. And no, not the kind of club that you put on your steering wheel to keep people from breaking in your car. This is actually a club for my Lego city of Figsdale. And it is an all-purpose club. It's not just resigned to being a jazz club. It is actually a club. So if you notice, I took the one print that said club and I just added a couple of blue tiles of the same color, and then added a couple lights up here with these keto orange color or whatever it is, translucent orange. And that way it just says the club on it. And so it's much more generic. It can be used for a lot of other things. I kept the signage on here because tonight they are having live music. And of course, live music is live music and a magic show. I made this down here so that you can actually pop that out, change this, and change it for whoever is playing in the club that evening. Now, if you notice something over here, we still have the tailor shop with the nice purple door. That's still there. And this staircase still leads up to the tailor shop on this level here. However, if you notice down here, there's no more signs of a pizza shop, except for maybe these blinds, which I thought about altering the color, but I think it looks kind of cool. And again, my narrative is that a concert promoter bought these 2 buildings, and the part of keeping these 2 buildings, or buying these 2 buildings, part of the sale, was a covenant that said you have to keep it looking the same on the outside. So naturally, I'm using the bones of this really nice modular. But a pizza place did not make sense, obviously, because like I said before, who wants to be in a jazz club and eat pizza? You want to have wine, you want to have martinis, you want to have some tapas, maybe some sort of hors d'oeuvres, that sort of thing. So I took the door out. I put a clear pane of glass in that door. I thought about adding another window, but I also wanted to try to use as many pieces from this set as possible, and as few pieces from my own sets as possible. So I repurposed it. I did use a sticker that was from the sticker sheet for the Friends apartment set that came out a few years ago, I think now. And then that way it shows the blinds on there. I put a nice plant, the lavender with the lavender leaves that I had in my collection. And that matches the lavender theme of the tailor shop. And so that way nobody can go over there and check it out, look in. They can't open the door because it's not a door. It's just a plain window now. So that's what it looks like on the front. And I'll show you the back and the sides in a few minutes, but I want to show you what's inside on this first level because I did change that around as well. Hi everybody, we'll get back to the video in one moment, but right now go to Google, type in Drmcbrick General Store, and you will find all kinds of stuff on the Drmcbrick General Store. As a matter of fact, we have hats, we have backpacks, we have tumblers, we have water bottles, we have all kinds of mugs with all different kinds of logos, Red Brick Redemption logos, Figsdale logos, Six Figs logos, the channel logos. We even have fanny packs. We have towels, we have pillows, we have stuff for your cats, stuff for your dogs, stuff for your little kids. We have everything on that store. And if you check out the link on the video that you're watching right now, you can just tap on one of those items and it'll take you right to our general store. So check it out. Hope you find something you like. We have anything from $4.99 all the way up to $49.99. Something for everybody. The Drmcbrick General Store. Now, back to the video. Okay, so I got rid of the pizza shop and instead I added a bar. Now, I put, the glasses up there, wine glasses. There's a bottle of wine right there. There's beer on tap that's available. Looks like somebody left their driver's license there. There's a little oven in which you can cook some tapas. And of course, you have this great pizza oven, although it's been repurposed now with a spatula and a fork and a baster and things like that to make some really cool tapas stuff. There's something up there. I don't know if maybe that's Mama's sweet tea up there. Could be fermenting and who knows? Could be an interesting drink there after a while. I did keep that brown piece right there to delineate the difference in the buildings, as you'll see, so that way you know that this building is two separate buildings and not just one. You see over here, I also added a sink, some kept some of the jars and things like that, a tap I put in. And so you still have the bar, but there you have a beer tap there as well on the right side, you can see. And so it goes right out into the main jazz club. And what I really like about it is that it keeps all of the stuff that the jazz club developed, or the designer came up with in his view, but it adds more. Now let me show you what it adds. It adds an elevator. That's right. We have an elevator here because in the old jazz club, the way it was designed originally, and again, not disparaging the designer, I think they did great with what they had, but there was no way to go from one floor to another without going outside. So if you remember, there was a door that was here, and that door led to the outside so you could go and get wood for your wood-fired oven. But now we don't have that. We have an elevator, and that elevator shaft goes up 3 stories. Now, right now, whoa! It only goes up 2 stories at the moment. It only goes up to the 2nd story. The 3rd story of the elevator shaft is connected to the 3rd story. The elevator shaft is not a working elevator. As a matter of fact, there's a spider and a bone. I'm not really sure how those got in there, especially the bone. We're not going to ask, but I did not make a working elevator. And let me tell you why. Because I could have made a working elevator with gears and cogs and all kinds of stuff like that. But as you see here, we made the elevator out of the same red brick that the majority of the building is made out of. And it looks like down here, there was some sort of impact or something that hit this because the brick is now showing and things like that. But I tried to make it uniform and go all the way up. It even follows the gray line that you'll have on the 2nd floor here and things like that. And then it goes up and up and up to the 3rd story. If I would have made this a working elevator, and I could have made it a lift, we had 4 studs on here, and so I could have brought it back a little bit, but I thought it looked good with an extra set of studs here. If I'd have gone out 4, and originally I had it out 4, and it just looked a little bit too big and bulky, and so this way also it saves me money. I didn't have to, I have a whole bin of these things, these color, but I didn't have to use as many as I thought. If I would have made it to where it would have been a working lift, instead of just something you just pop onto the building, it would have had cogs and levers and all kinds of stuff, and it looked kind of like the Lego haunted house in a sense, that second haunted house that in the back just looked kind of ugly, and it would no longer be a 32 by 32 base plate, and it wouldn't be a modular. It wouldn't fit in to a modular 32 by 32. So I did that. I just put the wood box over here. They're going to have to walk around to get their wood, but so what? At least now, when you're in this wonderful venue, concert venue, and the designer has done a great job, obviously. I didn't change anything down here other than to add the elevator and the facade of an elevator there. So that way, the person doesn't have to come around here, go outside, go up the steps, go to the 2nd floor, go up to another steps, go up to the 3rd floor, all that kind of stuff. I think by taking the pizza place out here and adding it, making it into more of a bar and hors d'oeuvre type of area, it makes sense because you want to, whether you're listening to jazz, whether you're listening to a comedy show or watching a magician or even a rock show, that sort of thing. The nice thing is that the designer did this so you could take these curtains out. You could change the color of these curtains based on the show, or you could take it out if you need more stage room. You could expand the stage. And so there's all kinds of cool things that you could do with this. But I think this makes the model stick out a little bit more because now you don't have to worry about climbing up the steps and you don't have a pizza place attached and goes through. It also, I never understood there was a door here so a person could come in, buy a pizza, and then just go into the concert. That didn't make any sense. From a business standpoint, this is the only door you want people going in, and you want people paying good money to go in that door, right? Once they're in that door, then they can go over and have their food, they can have their drink, they can go in the elevator up, that sort of thing. And so that is the first floor. Let's go to the second floor. Okay, this is the second floor. Now, one thing that you should notice right off the bat is that it's tiled. The entire floor is tiled. Now, I have taken out this wall here. There was a wall that was here, if you remember, and then there was a door, and then you could come in here. But since this is all one big venue now, then we don't need that, because what will happen is down below in the tailor's office, whenever there is a concert, this door will be locked and the tailor will be closed. So you won't be able to go up there. When there is no concert, then the tailor shop will be open and you'll be able to use the stairs, and you'll be able to come up the stairs and go right to the tailor shop, which is right here. Again, I've added an elevator door so that way you can go up or down on the second floor here. And then we have, of course, the balcony that leads over. Now, I don't know about you, but any club I've ever been in that has a balcony doesn't have the office of the manager right there. What they do have are a bunch of high top tables. And those high top tables usually have some stools and some chairs, or they just have a couple of high top tables that stand there and then or that stay there. And then you can bring your hors d'oeuvres up, bring your drinks or whatever, and sit there and talk with folks. Maybe talk, laugh, that sort of thing, depending on what kind of show is going on down below. Now, I have kept the record from the phonograph, and I put that on the wall. I wanted to make sure that was kept because I know that was a new print and a really cool print. Also, I added a little stand there, so this would be where your server would go, and they would kind of plug in your order for your hors d'oeuvres or whatever, that sort of thing. And you can see there's all kinds of tile and studs and things on which to stand. And then, of course, I wanted to make sure, because it was part of the narrative of the original modular, that this painting here was put on the wall as well. You can read about that in the actual instruction manual for this particular modular. The outside has not changed whatsoever, except for you have the ugliness of what's behind the elevator shaft, but you won't be able to see that, so don't worry about that. Inside here in the tailor's office, this, of course, can be used by as a costume shop for those folks who are down below singing or doing a play or a reading or something like that. I tiled it in to match kind of the white to go with the pastel yellow. Love the lamp. I've always loved those types of lamps. We actually have, my sister actually has it, an old Singer sewing machine just like that, that I believe she got from my grandmother. My great-grandmother. I'm sorry, my great-grandma. And so I've kept all that, although one thing I did do was reverse the door. I reversed the door so it opens this way, so that way it doesn't open out into the elevator, or it doesn't open out into the stairwell and knock somebody down the stairs when you open the door. So I didn't want people doing that, so that's why I reversed that door. And I've reversed the door on several of these models, in this particular modular and stuff like that. So tell me what you think about the upstairs. Do you like it more as an observation deck with some high top tables? I have a couple more of these high tops. This actually came with got to stick it back on there. It actually came with the set, so I wanted to make sure I used pieces from the set, but I'm going to put probably one more table up there, so you'll have two high tops. But it just makes sense to me. It just makes sense more as a venue. And then let's go up to the top level and see what we have. Now the top level did not change. It changed just a hair. And let me show you how I did that. Of course, we added the elevator into that. So we kept the hallway because we thought it was very important. Tiled it in to match the downstairs in terms. Oh, and I forgot there's supposed to be 4 tiles there. Those will be the vent pieces so that they'll look like an elevator door. I didn't put those in. I apologize. We put up, we used a nice little railing there that came with the modular. We put the plant that came with the modular right over there. We thought that would be a good use for it because who's going to go back there in that little tiny spot anyway? No one's going to really go stand over there if they do. There's the ladder right there that goes up to the top floor, up to the roof. The elevator doesn't go up to the roof, but it ends right there. We still have the door here to go outside to the greenhouse. And speaking of the greenhouse is the same. Nothing has changed. We are still going to use the greenhouse on top of this building because they're still going to be making hors d'oeuvres and little tapas meals and things like that. They may even be growing some kind of herb there. I'm not really sure what kind of herb that is, but anyway, you might be able to get that at the concerts as well. Then what we did was we made a real colorful and obnoxious green room. Yeah, we love the green room that the designer did. And so we kept all the goodness in there, but we obviously kept the painting, we kept the couch, but we tiled the floor so that it's actually green because this is a green room. And this is where they would rehearse and they would go to and they would practice and get primed up and stuff like that just before the show. Again, we changed the directions of the doors so our doors open in a different direction so they don't smash into the elevator or smash into the stairwell. So this one just opens up back to the door, back to the wall, that sort of thing. So we tiled it in with green the best we could. I wish I had a whole bunch of different types of greens. I would have made the tile pattern a little bit better. And I was thinking about doing the wall in green, but that would have shrunk it a brick, and then that would have made it a really tiny little area. So I didn't want to do that. And so basically that's the third floor. Now we did the roof. The only modification we made to the roof was we moved the squirrel over to this side of the roof and we added the obligatory HVAC unit. And the HVAC unit comes with oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. And attached is also the elevator shaft. So you see the elevator shaft attached. Let me try to get that on right. The elevator shaft is attached to go onto the back of the unit as well. But we did add a few pieces for pipes and tubing to come down so we can run tubing along here and go all the way down the building. And so I'll do that at some point. But nothing's really changed on the top except for that unit there. So let me put it all back together and show you what it looks like. So you see, as we did it, we tried to keep the same lines going up and everything like that. We even added a few lines. Coming around the back, especially on the third level here, we had to add, we had to kind of change these around, change the windows. So normally the window would have an extra 2x1 brick right in between it, but this is just a solid window for the green room. We've added the elevator, and you can see here how it's just modular. It takes off with the third floor, but you can see the back of the building, and I don't think the back looks bad, to be quite honest with you, even with the elevator shaft. Now again, it's not a working elevator, so don't hate, but at the same time, having a working elevator would mean adding more base plates, and it would get ugly. And I'm sure some of you will do that, and that's great. But I did not have any bricks of this color. If it were up to me, I would have made this part up here the same color as here, and then I would have made this part to here the same light bluish gray, then a dark bluish gray stripe, and I would have done it that way. So it would have looked pretty good all the way up. But in my narrative, the narrative is that the person that bought the building was able to get a covenant to say they could add an elevator to this building because they were doing some modifications. And with the ADA requirements, the Americans with Disabilities Act, for those of you in America, when you do modifications like that on a building like this, adding an elevator is an ADA requirement for a lot of buildings. So anyway, so that is my club, and I will put it in Figsdale, and I'm extremely happy with the way it turned out. Again, I didn't modify it too much, but I made enough modifications and tiled it and did a few things that now it can be a generic type of club that can be used for all sorts of different purposes in Figsdale. And that to me is what matters, because I want to be able to use it for a lot of different things. You know, we have the famous band from Figsdale, Fig, P-H-I-G. They're going to play a concert in here and do all kinds of stuff. So anyway, that is the 2023 modular, the Jazz Club, modified to be a general club for all concert venues. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, hit that bell so you know when I do more mocks that you will get a hold of me, and you'll know that you'll see them coming. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe. That's the way YouTube knows you like what I do. Comment down below. This is the first kind of modification I did to a mock since I had my brain surgery a year ago. And so it took me a few days, but you know, I kind of liked it, and I kind of like the creativity of being able to do things, to engineer a few things a little bit differently based on the way I had to do things. Really, once I got to the middle of the second floor, I really had to start re-engineering a few things to make this elevator shaft in the back work, and to make it connect and everything. I mean, to make it work in terms of look good, and then to make it connect and stuff like that. So with that said, please, again, like this video, share it, and subscribe if you're so inclined. Don't forget to check out the Dr. McBrick merch store at the Dr. McBrick general store. Google it, find it on YouTube, or gosh, I can't even talk. So you know what, since I can't talk, I'm tongue-tied. Y'all have a wonderful day. This is Dr. McBrick signing out.